Well, I'm very excited to be back from a very short break. I had the month of February off on the party line. And I am really, really excited to be back because our first guest back from my little vacation is the amazing Jennifer Wood. And I have to say, Jennifer, this is her first visit, and so that makes it doubly exciting. But I have to say, Jennifer, when Interweave sent me kind of a little preview of the books they had coming out the first half of this year, this was the book I could not wait for. I was so excited to see this book in person. I wanted to see the whole thing. It is, I mean, just the little preview that I had gotten was just whet my appetite. And I thought, I'm going to want to knit every single thing in this book. And it's so beautifully photographed. And congratulations on the book. It's really, really gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I know that our party line people in the room today you're in for a treat because it's really, really a stunning book. I mean, Interweave does beautiful books, but I think they really outdid themselves this time, though they had a lot to work with because the designs are just really lovely. And they're the kind of things that people actually wear, which is always nice. That
Yes.
you look at it and you think, oh my God, and I think that's the thing about this book is the detailing on the designs, and they look as good coming as they do going. And like this cover project is a perfect example of, this is a shawl where the back is as gorgeous, which is normally just like a long stretch of whatever stitch you're doing. The back is as gorgeous as the front. And when we do our little private tour of the book, and people will get a chance to see what I'm talking about. But and it was kind of there's lace in it, there's cabling in it, which I absolutely love texture, and then Aran lace, which was a new thing for me, and actually even a new kind of title for me. So tell us about Aran lace and what Aran lace is.
Well, I actually hadn't heard the title until we started this book either, but I just like playing with different stitches, and if I have a lace, sometimes I like to put a cable with it just to try new things, and I just kind of happened along it just by playing with swatches and different stitch patterns. And I think it's really fun because you get both the lace and the cable.
Yeah, and I think, cable can sometimes be a little, heavy. I mean, you don't really think of cables with, like lighter weight garments. I mean, cables tend to be,
right,
that big, like fisherman sweater kind of look to it. And the lace, adding some lace to it really lightens up, I think, both the look and the feel of the cable. So it's kind of two things that you think would not go together, but it really adds something special to the projects. And so I'm looking forward to showing the people in the room what we're talking about once we get to that section of the book. So it's your first visit here, so you have to tell us, how did you get started?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to be here and honored that you asked me to do this.
Oh, my pleasure.
I started knitting in my late 30s, and it was actually my daughter who got me knitting. She had to read The Witch of Blackbird Pond for a school book, and the colonial girls in there are knitting, and she just thought it sounded so cool by their descriptions in the book. So she said, let's learn how to knit. I said, okay. So we went and got a book and got some needles and some yarn, and we set about learning how to knit.
Oh, how funny.
And that was just, I know. It's amazing when I look back that I have her to thank for all of this.
Yeah,
it's interesting because I just loved it.
I think you're the first person I've ever interviewed or spoken with that it was, because usually it's people learn from their mother, they learn from their grandma, you know,
Right.
occasionally a college roommate, but normally it's a generation down or two generations down. So the fact that your daughter got you into knitting, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. That does, yeah, that's an unusual arrangement there. Now, does your daughter still knit?
Very little. Every once in a while she'll do like a garter stitch pillow or something like that, but she doesn't do it very often. She likes painting a little bit better.
Well, as long as you have an artistic outlet. But
Yes.
we're really glad that you stuck with it and that knitting turned into something that you loved, because your work is so gorgeous. And thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that with the rest of the knitting world. I'm sometimes writing a book, and I'm only knitting things that are going in a book, and it's so much work. And that's what I think, but a lot of people don't realize is, the amount of time you spend ripping out is probably 4 times the
Yes.
amount of time you spend knitting. And of course, you're knitting for a sample size, and you're writing down every tiny little thing you do. And then when you're ripping out, backing up where you are and where you've written it down, or starting all over again. And it's not necessarily the most relaxing kind of knitting.
No, it's not.
But so for knitters, all knitters, it's to knit somebody else's design where they've done all that work for you is, is just a much more peaceful and relaxing experience. And so I really appreciate beautiful designs that other people have done all the work for. So where I can just sit and knit and really enjoy the craft.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I sometimes like take long breaks where I only knit other people's stuff, because it reminds me why I love knitting. Is it's
Right.
peaceful. So it's very peaceful. And so thank you for doing all of that work, because this book is gorgeous. And I think people will have a hard time choosing what to start first, because I know
There are definitely lots of choices.
there are definitely lots of choices. You have things here for people who are really big into lace. You have hats, you have wraps, you have, gauntlets, you have sweaters. I mean, there are some, I mean, just really, really gorgeous things in here. So I think we should go look at the book. I'm pretty sure people want to
Okay.
look at the book. And let me switch over there. There we are. So now, did you have much input into the look of this book, or did you just have the world's best stylist?
Well, I think Becca Thrasher did a wonderful job on the layout. I picked out a lot of the colors with Carrie's help, and had some input on what they were going to do, but I, didn't have much input like on the photo shoot. And I gave lots of ideas for the layout, and they kind of took my ideas and went from there.
Yeah, I mean,
But I think Becca did she did an absolutely wonderful job.
yeah, I mean, everything, including just the look of the models and the backdrops. And I mean, it's really, it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. And I think that's one of those things that people open a book and they go, oh, this is really pretty, but they don't really, if you haven't done this, you wouldn't like necessarily know how much work goes into making that happen. And
Right.
boy, they really outdid themselves on this one. Kate says she loves the cover, which I agree. And shooting this from the back to highlight how pretty that is.
Yes,
Really,
I love the waves in the middle.
yeah. And this book is unusual in that there are actually, for each of the designs, there are multiple shots from different angles. And a lot of publishers don't want to give up that kind of real estate in a book
Mm-hmm.
to additional views. And in this book they did. And it's so you get a chance to see the garments from all sides, which I think in the case of these designs, because there's detail in the back and in the sleeves, and the detail is everywhere.
Yes.
that for them to give up that kind of retail space or that kind of real estate, for photographs was
Yes.
really important, and it really really enhances the book. And I normally don't show the backs of garments, but I will say there are a few of them in here that I had to because the backs are so spectacular. So, yeah, this is really gorgeous. So, this project, this beautiful, beautiful cardigan. Now, this is in the first section of the book, which is cables, right?
Cables, yes.
Cables. So, tell us about the inspiration for this design. I especially love the seed stitch on the edges, which is, you normally see ribbing on this kind of a sweater, and the seed stitch really adds to it. But yeah, and Kate says that color is great. It really shows the detail, which I agree, and it really pops against that backdrop there too. But so
Yes.
tell us how this sweater was born.
Well, this one, there's something so classic about a cable cardigan. And I love cable cardigans. So that was kind of the beginning point for this. And I didn't want to just use, your typical rope cable. So I decided to go with the circle cables and then added the seed stitch inside to just add some depth and a pretty detail. And I really liked the way that looked. So to tie it all together, I added the seed stitch border and collar and cuff to make it all come together.
Yeah, and this is the kind of sweater that never goes out of style.
Right.
Ever.
It is. It's classic.
Yeah. And really nice. Now, is there side shaping in there, or is it done with ribs? I can't really tell from the picture.
There is no shaping once you get to the underarms. It's all straight down as far as the stitch count on that. There's not any decreases. The cables themselves, of course, add shaping.
Yeah.
And this I made to be a little bit looser fit, so you could wear it over several layers if you wanted to, and to make it, more comfortable and that kind of thing. And it makes it versatile too. You can wear it dressy, or you can, wear it with jeans and boots.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we see it dressed up with a little belt, and then, yeah, I could definitely see this, over a t-shirt and a pair of jeans as well. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
very, really, really, really pretty. And the back is, because I think all of your designs, there's patterning on the back as well, right?
Yes. And on this one, I did a bigger circle cable down the center of the back, and then the two other size circle cables flanking that center one.
Yeah, and I think.
And on this one, I did the. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep trying to.
I was going to say, I did the button bands are worked at the same time as the sweater, and instead of doing your typical buttonholes, I worked them into the center of the circle cable.
Yeah, and it's really nice not to have that break in the design that you get when you have like a normal button band that you pick up and knit on or sew on later. So yeah, so it's you don't lose that design across the front. And yeah, so Patty says that she just loves this, that she thinks it'd be fun to knit, which I agree. And Shannon loves the cables and the seed stitch on the bottom as well, which is just a little unexpected detail, and which makes such a difference in how finished it looks, and just kind of
that
style up just a little bit extra. And Mary says this would make a lovely Christmas sweater. I agree, because I think Christmas sweaters don't necessarily have to have reindeers on them.
Right.
Right? This is beautiful. And yeah, Roxy says the button placement is lovely, and Kimberly thinks it's gorgeous. And yeah, I agree. This is so beautiful. And what I love about having detail on the back, Jennifer, is for me, I love coffee cups where there's a pattern in the bottom of the cup. So you get to the bottom, and then there's that little surprise at the bottom. And the thing about having a design on the back is then you turn around and it's like, oh, look at the back of her sweater. It's like that little unexpected surprise, because normally you see the sweater with a plain back. So yeah, really, really nice. Really.
Yeah, it's fun because it gives you two different palettes or canvases to work with. You have the
Yeah,
front and the back.
yeah, that is a lot of blank space back there.
Yes.
There's a lot of blank space back there. And then this sweater with the ballet length sleeves, which this is my favorite sleeve length. This is also in the cable section, and it's really interesting when you see like the difference. You know, a heavier yarn, a heavier cable, and then a lighter weight yarn with a smoother cable is so different. You get such a different look with
Yes,
cables. So yeah, Jean thinks this
definitely.
is lovely, and Lily likes this too. She thinks it's very elegant and classy, which I agree. I love this sweater. So tell us how this one was born.
This one was actually born out of the cable design itself. It's made with just 4-stitch cables that are either crossed left or right, and the arrangement of the cables form a little diamond. And I just thought it was such a pretty cable design from 4-stitch cables, very simple.
Yeah.
But the way it's arranged, it makes a much more intricate pattern than you would think you could do with 4-stitch cables.
Yeah, really, really pretty. And tell me, because I can't really tell from the picture, the bottom edge is finished how? What is that? Because it looks like it's got a little bit of a finish on the bottom.
Actually, I can't remember what I did at the bottom of that. I
Now,
think,
is this top down?
yes,
Yeah.
all of them are top down.
Okay.
And I think I just decreased them up where the cables are. And then, yeah, you just work to the bind off and you do some decreases where the cables are so it doesn't puck or ruffle there.
Yes, because it's really
And
got a nice smooth bind off on it.
yeah, it's worked in the bind off is worked in a purl stitch, so the little chain made by the bind off goes to the wrong side and doesn't show, and it gives a much cleaner edge
Yes,
for it.
really pretty. And I love cables up the front that split and go around the neck. I think that is
Yes.
really, really, really pretty. And wow, and this one's getting very much love in the room. Patty says this is beautiful. I told you, Patty, you were going to have such a hard time picking a favorite out of this book. Because, you know, I see a lot of books, obviously, because of what I do. But I had that same thing. It was like, oh, I want that sweater. Oh, I want that sweater. Oh no, I want that wrap. So it's the same. Yeah, Savannah Gal says it's so feminine and pretty, and Kimberly says she's in love. I get it.
Thank you.
And Roxy says this is a must knit, and Joanna says this is beautiful. So I told you, Jennifer, people were going to be madly in love with this book because
Well, thank you.
I am, and I'm jaded.
So you get to see lots of books.
I see a lot of books, and you know, and there's a lot of great books, but spectacular books are few and far between. And I thought this one fell into that spectacular section. So there was nothing I didn't like about this book. Oh yeah, and see, Kate loves this. We've moved to this. This sweater is just. This is for cable lovers everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, and Kate says she likes this one. She thinks it looks hard, and I think it's probably looks harder than it is. But Patty says she would knit every single thing we've seen. So
there you go.
I'm gonna
have lots of knitting to do.
Yeah, this book is gonna take care of you for a while. So yeah, Candy says she loves this one and wonders if she can get her best friend to make it for you. I will say, if you figure out how to get someone to knit you this sweater, you call me, Candy, because I'd love to know your secret. But this one is this is a explosion of gorgeous cables. So where did the idea for this sweater come from? This is so spectacular.
The idea for this one came, I really like shawl cardigans, and so I was trying to figure out how could you make a shawl cardigan that works the shawl part at the same time as the whole cardigan, so you don't have to go back and pick up stitches to work them. and I wanted the shawl part to be reversible. So I did it in a reversible braid. So it actually starts with the shawl, and then you add the saddles, then you add the back, then you add the front, and then you add the sleeves. And you work it top down from there. So it starts out in lots of pieces, but they all come together, and it's really fun to watch them come together.
Oh, it's like a jigsaw puzzle of cable knitting.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Oh my God. I can't believe that this edging is not picked up and knit or stitched
No, it's
on.
worked right along with it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you know what? That just seems like a fun project to knit because it would keep you interested. It was like, how is that going to work?
Yes, yes, it does. And there's diagrams in the book to help you. And if you just have to take it one step at a time, because at first you think, how in the world is this going to work? And then it comes together, and you're like, wow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Joanna says she loves cables. And this is amazing, which I agree. And Shannon loves the cables. And Candy says she's not sure she's smart enough. And Mary says she's not sure she is either, but she wants to try, which I totally get. And I don't think it's smart. I think it's just following the directions because
Yes,
right? And yes, just
yes,
follow the directions and trust that it's all gonna work out. It's all
yes. You
gonna
just
be
got to trust the pattern.
it's all going to be just fine. Yeah.
Yes.
So Candy wants to know what yarn this was done in.
This was done in shibui, staccato held together with their pebble. So
Wow.
it's two fingering weights, and it makes a DK weight.
Wow.
It's really a lovely combination. The staccato adds a little bit of sheen, and then the pebble adds that a little bit of tweed to it, which gives it some nice depth.
Yeah. And Candy says she loves shibui, which, I mean, yeah.
Yes,
What's
I
not
love
to love,
shibui too.
right? What's not to love? What is not to love?
Exactly.
So now this is just one of my favorite colors, and I do love it with the lime green. So it was hard. I was
Yes.
immediately drawn. And of course, it has this 3/4 length sleeves, which I just love because I love to wear bracelets. And
Right.
it's like the perfect thing for showing off bracelets. So, but what I think was so interesting about this as well, first of all, is that overall, is that they call that bird's eye cable?
I think it's called several different things depending on which book you look in.
Yeah, but this is one of those cable stitches that the backside is interesting as well.
Yes, this is actually fully reversible. They didn't get a full picture of it reversible, but one of the pictures she is holding up the edge. And I actually like the inside better than the outside. It makes a neat, pretty diamond shape on the inside.
Yeah, it's a very different texture on the inside, but it's
yes,
a pretty texture.
yes. It's so interesting how it looks one way on one side and another way on another. That's what I love about cables and knitting.
Yeah.
You just never know exactly what you're going to get sometimes.
There you go. Yeah, Kate says she loves this purple too because it's just really rich and gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And Roxy loves the shading. What kind of yarn did you use in this?
This is Sweet Georgia Superwash 6.
Wow. Yeah, I mean it's the coloring really blends with this kind of cable so well. It's really rich and interesting looking, and it doesn't detract from the texture. So this is just really lovely. This is really pretty. I'm
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a fan. So is everybody else in the room. And this sweater too has beautiful detailing on the back. And here we're kind of getting into things with intentional holes in them. Intentionally putting holes in them. So yeah, Gina says, here's another lovely sweater, which I agree. And this kind of neckline is so appealing. I think the collarbone on a woman's neck are just really lovely. And it's a nice way to show them off. And of course, then you get the 3/4 sleeves as well. But what really drew me is, first of all, I love the diamond texturing on the top. It's how you get that patterning in the cuffs and the bottom, in the the bottom of the sweater as well, which I know there's a word for it, but it flew out of my head. Um, it would normally be the place I would cast on, but in your sweaters, it's the place you bind off. So,
Yes.
yeah. So, yeah, Kate says she agrees. There aren't many books when you say over and over again, "Oh my God, I love that sweater," and it's true. And Shannon says these are all such lovely feminine designs. And Kate wants to know, are they all top? Are they all top down, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Excuse
all
me.
top,
Sorry. They are all top down.
which means far less finishing at the end, which is
Yes.
always.
And you can very easily adjust the length of the body and the sleeves on all these. Someone on Ravelry has already made this, and she made it longer in the body, and she made full-length sleeves on it.
I just like the sleeves the way they are, but some people don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there you go. So Candy says, okay, Kate says she needs this book, which I'm giving away one during the event today, and of course
Yes.
on Facebook starting tomorrow. So you got two chances, and then of course there's always the option of buying it today at your local store. So and Candy says she needs this book today. All right, Candy, you're going to make a phone call as soon as we get on. So yeah, this is just really pretty. And what I like is, the rest of the sweater is done in a simple stockinette. So you get
Yes.
the break, so you do the lace panel.
Exactly.
You got a nice long break until you get to the bottom of the sweater or the bottom of the sleeves. So you're not, constantly, looking at a chart, which is
right.
really nice. And so,
yes, you do get a nice break in this one.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that. You get past and for this one, you're going to do most of the work at the top. So
correct.
Then it's smooth sailing.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, Savannah Gal says this is so pretty, which I agree. But then you have this one. So now what are you going to choose? I love the neckline on this. That kind of drapey neck.
Yes.
I think this is so flattering to no matter what size you are or whether you have a swan neck or a short neck. It's just so flattering.
Yes.
I really love this neckline. And Savannah Gal says she loves this neckline too, and Candy loves. I'm telling you, when I talked to you yesterday for the first time, Jennifer, I said people are going to be so in love with this book because, and here they are. See, I'm always right.
There you go.
Yeah, Joanna says the drape on this is so beautiful. What yarn is this?
It is. This is Shibui again. It's just the Shibui staccato by itself, and that does have an absolutely beautiful drape.
Yeah, and then when you get to the bottom,
and wonderful stitch,
you get those lovely kind of Art Nouveau sort of designs along the bottom. I mean, this is a piece that you could definitely have seen like in the 1920s or 1930s.
Right.
I mean, it has like that beautiful architectural detail to it, but it's and Candy says she has 8 skeins of that yarn in her stash, and I think we know.
Oh, there you go.
I think she knows what she's going to do with it now. But yeah, this is lovely, and then just that the kind of fan lace at the bottom is just such a lovely way to bind this off. It's just so pretty.
Yes, and there's one on the back. There's just a single. Like there's 3 of the designs on the front, and the back has a single one.
Well, we can't leave that back naked.
No, you got to put something back there.
You got to put something back there. So, and that's why, the back of this wrap is photographed on the cover, but what you can't really see on that cover shot is that those front edges have that lacy fan edge on them as well. But then you get that nice long stretch of repetitive lace, and then you have that beautiful back, and then a nice long stretch.
Yes.
Of repetitive lace. So this is a little something. This has a little something for everyone in it. So tell us where this one came from.
Well, this one is a combination of 3 classic old lace stitch patterns. You have the part of a frost flower, which is at the bottom, or the 2 edges, and then it moves into the old shell stitch pattern, and then the body of it is the fern stitch pattern. So I just thought it was really interesting how all of these are just made with yarn overs and a 2-stitch or 1-stitch decrease, but it, depending on how you arrange those, it makes totally different patterns. And I just thought that was so interesting, so I wanted to combine the 3 into one piece.
Yeah, this is really, really, really gorgeous. Kimberly says this would be a long-term project for sure, but I think it will go faster than you think it's going to go, Kimberly.
Yes, it does, because none of the stitch patterns are super hard to learn on this one.
Yeah, and with shorter repeats. So I think
yes,
I think you would be surprised how fast this would go. And then Savannah Gal says she loves stoles and wraps, which I do too, and this is beautiful. And Shannon says that this is really pretty, and she thinks the photography is really beautiful, which
yes, it is. They did a wonderful job.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, they have like this model that has kind of that classic sort of look to her, and then this model who's clearly, has a much edgier look, and it just shows you
right.
that great design is great design and timeless. It doesn't, it's anybody can wear it. So this little cardigan was lovely, and I love just kind of like the little ribbing detail that comes down the arm, like
yes.
Yeah, it's just how it shapes itself to the body, I think was really, really interesting. Tell us about this design.
Well, this one I was wanting to do a rounded yoke cardigan, and I was looking through, this is from a Japanese stitch book. So I found it there, and I loved the shape of the lace pattern. I played with it some to get it just how I wanted it. But I loved how it kind of had a pine cone shape, and I love pine cones. Mm-hmm. And so I just thought, well, this would be perfect. So I played with it for a while, and then I took the center of the pine cone and put it in between. You can barely see it up there at the top in this picture. And that's where the Purl ridge that you see comes down out of the centerpieces that I put. And then you can't see in this also right before the ribbing, that centerpiece is worked again along the bottom to give some decoration down there.
Yeah, really lovely. And Lily said she would never have thought to put cables with lace. And Savannah Gal says this one is stunning. She loves the color choices. And
I love this color.
Oh, and this is the color that
one of my favorite colors.
Oddly looks good on just about everybody, which you wouldn't think when you first see this color. But if you hold it up, you'll be surprised. This color looks pretty good on everybody. And Savannah Gal says she can't wait to get the book. And
good.
Wants to know what yarn this is.
This is Anzula Cricket. It's a DK weight, and it's super soft and has wonderful stitch definition. I love working with it.
Yeah, and it just the shape of the sweater is just so feminine. It's really pretty. Shannon says it's another winner. She loves this one too. Yeah, you're just going to make it tough for everybody here.
And this one, the button bands are worked with the sweater also.
Oh, I love that part.
And I do a hemmed for the actual button band, where you sew the buttons on. I do a hemmed button line. So you knit extra stitches, and then you turn those other and under, and you stitch them down when you're done, and that gives you 2 layers of fabric to sew your buttons onto.
Oh, nice.
Which I like, because I feel like it's more sturdy, and then also you can take the ends of what you sewed your buttons on with and just tuck them in between the layers, and you don't have to weave them in.
Yeah, and I think that double button band as well, just, it holds its shape so much better.
Yes, it really does.
Yeah, because I think when you sew buttons to knitwear, it pulls and it tends to distort a little bit. So just having something more secure to put your buttons on that holds its shape better is a good thing. Yeah, Kate says it's really interesting on button bands. She hadn't heard that before. So Yep. It's really kind of the designer finishes. That higher end finishes that
Yes.
you're going to find in expensive knitwear is really what was I was really taken with the designs in this book. These are not the kind of these are the kind of details that you see on expensive sweaters in high-end stores. So why not knit them for yourself? So, and then
Exactly.
right, and then people will just be blown away because they'll never believe you knit it for yourself. And if when you tell them that, they'll think that you are a freaking genius. So, which of course you are,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
But we
Of
always
course.
are,
Yes.
yeah, where people are shocked. They say, "Oh, your sweater's beautiful. Oh, thank you. I knit this." They're
And you're
always
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's always nice when people don't start with, "Oh, did you knit that yourself?"
Yes, that was
Right? You don't
much better the other way around.
Right. You want people to comment on the garment and not the fact they think it was hand knit. So anyway,
Yes.
so yeah. So this sweater I'm so in love with. And yeah, and Gina says the back is beautiful, which is why I'm showing it because I this one, it's very lovely from the front. And then I would back into the room if I were wearing this.
There you
I just back
go.
in so people could see the back first. And yeah, Roxy said another gorgeous option in a lovely color. And Shannon is actually speechless. And
Thank you.
yeah, and Kimberly says the pattern on the back is gorgeous, and Lily agrees. This is really. I can see they would have had a really, really tough time deciding what to put on the front cover because as I'm going through, I was like, oh, that would be beautiful on the front. Oh, that would, yeah,
Yes.
it was tough. So yeah, Candy says she thinks this would be a really nice sweater for large busted women too, which I agree because the really heavy detailing is on the back where
Right.
breasts aren't. So so on the front. It's really and if that was all that was on the sweater, this would still be a really gorgeous sweater. So
Hmm.
and then the back is just spectacular. So yeah, and Candy says this more smooth in the front and the decoration in the back is really really beautiful. And I think if that decoration were all on the front and then you were large chested, you might be thinking
Right.
twice about putting that much on your chest. So
Right.
yeah, really, really nice. And then you see the little cable detailing on the sleeve as well.
Yes. Yeah. There's a little smaller oval on the sleeve at the near the cuff, which
Yeah.
you can't really see in these pictures.
And I love when cables go down into the ribbing, where it just
Uh
kind of
huh.
follows down into the ribbing. I think that's just
Yes.
such a lovely detail. Yeah, Savannah Gal had a question. She says, this is another wonderfully feminine knit and the color's rich. Is this in Anzula as well?
This is in Madeline Tosh.
Oh, well, that explains it. Yeah, because the color on this is just
Yes, it's their
delicious.
famous tart color.
Yeah, it is delicious.
It is. It's a gorgeous color.
Yeah. And then this sweater, it kind of takes I don't when I saw this, I thought, it's like a classic sweater, but it's not like any other classic sweater. I love how it has the cabling detail up the center, and then it uses very wide ribs, which
Mhm.
how like really gives a sweater shape and makes it really flatter.
Yes.
And it kind of keeps the detail more confined with the cables.
Yes. It
This-
kind of frames the detail. That's what I was trying to do with the ribs. I think, which brings it out more, I think.
yeah, I agree. I think if you did the whole front of the sweater like this, it would completely lose its impact. But by framing it with those beautiful wide ribs, it's just it really draws your eye to the cable. Yeah, and Savannah Gal says this is totally her style for sweater. She says not the pants so much. But you could pull
Right.
the pants off, Savannah Gal. You don't actually have to, I think, look like a model. But it's to wear them. Maybe you do. So, yeah, now in retrospect, shiny clothes tend not to highlight. They tend to highlight the defects, but this girl obviously has none. But so
Yes, would be great with jeans, of course, too. It's a very comfortable sweater.
yeah, I mean, this is one of those you're going to wear it until you wear it out.
Right, exactly.
So tell us about where the thought process for this design came from, because it's really beautiful.
The stitch pattern in this one I've actually been eyeing for quite a few years because it's really quite simple, but it's so pretty and delicate, but at the same time made in this type of wool, it kind of brings a rustic feel to it.
Yeah,
So I just was drawn to the simple pattern of it, but then how it looks more intricate than it really is, and it's got the cables and the lace in it, which is always fun. So, and I was going for the Aran pullover look on this, so I wanted to do a little bit more rustic tweedy yarn. And then I added, like I said before, I added the ribs to frame it and bring the actual detail out a little bit more. And then I made it with lots of ease so it's comfortable and you can wear it with anything. It's just turned out to be a great pullover. And the back on this one, the back and the front are identical. So you have the same design on the back, and the sleeves are just plain on this one.
yeah, so pretty. And it's interesting how adding lace inside the cables kind of lightens what would normally be a heavier kind of look
Yes,
to the sweater.
right. Especially with the heavier yarn that it's worked in.
Yeah, really, really pretty. Yeah, this would be like the kind of sweater that when the weather's cool enough, you would pull this out every day.
Yeah.
This is a really pretty version of wearing a sweatshirt every day. So just saying, if you're
Exactly.
down that slippery slope where you're pulling on a sweatshirt every day, and I'm speaking from experience here,
Yes. You
is
can grab this.
this is a much better option. This is a
Right.
much better
And
option.
this is made in the Rowan felted tweed, but
One of
I've
my
had someone
favorite
already knit
yarns.
it.
One of my
Yes,
favorite
it's a
yarns.
wonderful yarn, and just that classic rustic type yarn. I've also had someone make this in a smoother yarn, and it looks great in that too.
Yeah. There's something about that Rowan felted tweed and how it knits up that,
Yeah, oh, it's wonderful.
yeah, it's one of my favorites. I have quite a few balls of that in my stash. Yeah, and Shannon says this is a great classic to add to your wardrobe. And I think that's one of the
Yes,
things is people see the other patterns that are in the book as well, is there's nothing in here that you couldn't have worn 10 years ago, or I think that you couldn't wear 20 years from now. I mean, they're just classic. They're classic and elegant, refined designs. So, yeah, nothing too trendy. And this, I wasn't sure whether it was the cables, the lace, or the color that was the first thing that drew me in, because they all grabbed me.
right.
And so this is interesting. When I saw the panels of lace separating the cables, this
Yes,
is, yeah, this is not something I'm used to seeing. And I thought, what a great idea, because this obviously looks light, something that you
right.
layer over a turtleneck, but you could also put it over a tank top, or
Yes.
like this girl put over a little sheath dress. So tell us about this design.
Well, this is another one that I had my eye on for a while, and I've actually had swatches of this because I was thinking about maybe doing a child sweater with it at one time. So I really liked, like we talked about, the cables and the lace separate them because it does lighten up the cables. And so I added a rib stitch that it can like grow out of. And so I thought it would be neat to do a rounded yoke and have the lace gradually starting in the center of the front and back, and then gradually work all the way around to where the whole cardigan is worked in the cables and lace.
Yeah.
And then there's just a little touch of it on the ends of the sleeve.
Yeah, I
I'm
noticed
not sure
that.
you can see in that picture.
Yeah, just a lovely little bit of finishing touch to it. And yeah, this is one of those. I mean, just you could put a dozen of these in your wardrobe. So, Gal says again with the color, you really outdid yourself with your color choices in here, which I agree. And
Thank you.
yeah, Shannon says this is one of her favorite colors and wants to know what the yarn was that you used in this.
This is handmade and smitten, and it's a mixture of merino and silk. It has like a silk thread woven through it.
Wow. Yeah, this is really, really spectacular.
It's a really nice yarn.
Yeah,
And this one is very size friendly as far as it looks great on all kinds of sizes, and there's a pretty good overlap on the front, so you can, when you decide on the size, you can decide how much overlap you want on your front. And lots of people of different sizes have actually tried this one on, and it worked.
oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then you could decide where if you want to put a pin on it or, depending on where you want it, how open you want it
Right.
on as well.
Yeah, you could just leave it open and not even,
Button it.
sew the little button up there. And it does have a hook on the inside of the other side to keep it from falling down.
Yeah.
And this one also, you can easily adjust the length, and you can make the sleeves longer if you want.
Yeah, so pretty.
There's lots of options with it.
Gina thinks that if she cast this on today, she might have it in time for warmer weather. Unless, Gina, like me, you live in Florida, and in that case, that ship has sailed.
Exactly.
It's been 90 degrees for the last couple of days. So if you're waiting for the warmer weather, only if you live up north can you cast this on today and have it in time. So, yeah, so Kimberly says it's almost like you picked the color palette just to appeal to her. But I'll tell you, Kimberly, everybody in the room is loving it. So we obviously all have great taste.
There you go.
Yeah, and Kate says this is beautiful. And Shannon wants to know, is this the Radiant Orchid color?
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
wow. Yeah. The color is spectacular on this sweater.
Yeah.
So next,
And this is a worsted weight yarn too.
yeah.
So it.
When I first looked at it, I thought, is that done in Munch Touch Me? Because it has that really kind of rich, look, which obviously Touch Me is a chenille yarn, so you get that kind of shifting color and that richness to it.
Right.
That's what I initially thought. I was like, that couldn't be knit in that. Well, first of all, it would, be a ridiculously expensive sweater. But the other thing is, wouldn't have this really lovely, like kind of lightness to it. So
Yes.
yeah, but it had that depth of color to it that really was spectacular. So I'm gonna have
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
track that yarn down because it's really pretty. So, well, there's the tour of the book, and oh my gosh, I know everybody's like crazy in love with this book, like I am, which is always nice when it wasn't just me, and I haven't lost my mind completely. But
Yeah.
well, I might still have lost my mind completely, but not about this book. So there you go. Yeah, Lily says absolutely breathtaking designs. It's just kudos to you and kudos to me for bringing the book to you. So
Well, thank you so much.
I think I just did something I didn't mean to do. So, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yeah, Candy says it's wonderful. And Shannon says it's a great book, and Patty says it's the book for her. I mean, it's really. I hope this book sells 1 billion copies.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Wouldn't that be terrific?
I'll take that.
Yeah, it should be the best-selling knitting book of the year. That's what I think about this book. It's just awesome. So now I know people are going to want to keep up with what you're working on because we're already in love. So now we're going to have to turn into like fans and stalkers. So if you want to virtually stay in touch with Jennifer, here's all the places that you can find her and keep up with what's going on. So her website is Wood House Knits, and where you can see all kinds of lovely things that she's working on. And it's really interesting when you see the swatches, and kind of like how the sweaters were born. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the beginning stages, which I always find so fascinating of how things got where they are. And
Right.
and also, so you can see actually on the Refined Knits page, I think there's the pictures of the rest of the designs from the book. So obviously,
Yes, they're down at the bottom.
all of them today, then we would have been here for, I would have taken up a lot more of Jennifer's time today. But so you can see the rest of them on Jennifer's website, Woodhouse Knits. So you can also follow Woodhouse Knits on Facebook. And I know, Jennifer, you're kind of having a little problem with the administration on your Facebook page, so it's not quite up to date.
Yes.
But you're working on it.
No, it's not. I keep sending them messages, hoping they'll fix it. Yeah, it won't let me admin my page, so I can't post or do anything on it.
But if you follow
it's kind of frustrating.
Once things are back up and running, then you'll be in the know.
I'll be back on there.
Yeah, people want to be in the know. So
yes.
Another place that you can follow Jennifer is on Woodhouse Knits on Pinterest. So that you can follow her board, and it has some really great pictures of Jennifer's work, and you'll see even from things that are not in the book, but you can see all these all the beautiful designs that are on the back of the garments as well, which is kind of a trademark for you, is that you make sure we don't have ugly backsides. And yes,
there you go. Yes.
I get that. I heard it when I said it. So, and then also on Instagram, Woodhouse Knits.
Woodhouse Knits.
On Instagram, which you can visually follow what's going on. And for those who are on Ravelry, Jennifer has a designer page as well, where you can see the projects. I think you get a better view of the projects on Jennifer's website. But you can see also projects that were not from the book, but that are either Jennifer's downloadable patterns or things that were in Knitty or in other magazines. So you can check that out on Jennifer's designer page on Ravelry as well.
And also, I am running knit-alongs in my Ravelry group.
Yeah. So if you're on
the
Ravelry,
things in the book.
And what are you doing? What projects are you doing knit-alongs on?
I'm actually covering all the sweaters. I have a thread for all those. I don't have them up yet. I've got 7 up so far, and I'll be adding more the rest of this week. And then I'll do a joint thread for all the accessories. So if you need any help, I know these patterns can intimidate some people, and I just want there to be lots of help for anybody who wants to maybe get out of their comfort zone and try something they haven't tried before. And we'll be there to help them.
Well, help is good.
We've got lots of people interested, and so I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and help is on the way because you got Jennifer there. Next best thing to having her living next door to you.
Right. There you go.
Jennifer, help me. So I know people are going to want to rush right out and get this book. So if you don't win today from being here today in the random drawing, you're going to pick up the phone right away and call your favorite LYS, and then your second favorite, your third favorite, and your fourth favorite, if you're lucky enough to live in a place where you get that you have the luxury of having 4 favorites, and see if they have it, or if they can get it for you as soon as possible. And if you don't win today and you just can't wait, if you can wait for a few days, then we're giving away a second copy on Planet Purl's Facebook page starting tomorrow. But of course it's going to have to come from Interweave, so it's going to be a couple weeks before you get it. So you have a couple of options otherwise. you can go to Planet Pearl's, which it was up here a second ago. I don't know where it went. You can go to Planet Pearl's book page, and you can click as soon as it loads. You go to our book page here, and you can see Refined Knits is right here, and you can click on that. And if you click on the buy link through Amazon, you can get, well, depending on what city you're in, you could have it tomorrow, and Planet Pearl would get a little commission, which helps us pay for like GoToMeeting and bring events like this to you into your own little house or office. So, but of course, call your LYS first, because we do want to help support them. And
yes, definitely.
Absolutely. So are you taking a break from designing now that this book is out, or are you working on something else?
I am still designing. In fact, I am publishing a new pattern on Monday.
On your website?
And on my website and on Ravelry. It will be available on both. And then I have a scarf coming out with the Woolen Rabbit Club in April. And then I have more things for May, June, and on through the rest of the year, I hope.
Well, thank your daughter for us.
Yes.
For getting you started.
I know.
Getting you started knitting. Because and thank you for sharing your talent and your design aesthetic and your love of knitting with us. It was really a delight to have you here today. And
well, thank you.
Do you think you'll do a second book, or?
Oh gosh, I don't even know that I can think about that right now.
Yeah.
Right now I want to, do a good job on this one and help people knit these projects and discover new things they can do in knitting and make things they never thought they could make. And so I want to finish well first, and then I'll worry about that later.
Yeah, there you go. I know it's tough. I think it's like childbirth, is while you're in the middle of it, you think, I'll never do this again.
Right.
And then once the baby's here, you're like, oh yeah, I totally do this again. So yeah, I get it.
Kind of forget.
I get it. Well, thank you so much for being here, Jennifer. Don't disappear, because you're going to help me give away a book in just a second.
Okay.
And if you people in the room, if you missed any part of today's event, it'll be posted up on YouTube sometime this afternoon, and it will, and I'll post that up on Planet Pearl's Facebook page as well. So it's just been wonderful having you here today. And I think we've got a bunch of events coming up in April, May, and June before the summer knitting doldrums. So make sure you watch the Facebook page for new events getting scheduled. And thanks again, Jennifer. It was really just delightful to have you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Oh, my pleasure.